My name is Sarah Reed. I am 35 years old. Although it may sound odd to say this about myself, I hold a directorial position at one of the leading companies in the country. My job is extremely busy, but the fulfillment it provides occupies a major part of my life. There are goals to be achieved every day, and they keep me moving forward. "Good morning, Sarah," said my colleague John. "Yesterday's presentation was spectacular." "Good morning, John." "Thank you." "Let's also work hard on the next project," I replied with a smile. In between meetings and projects, many of my subordinates come to me for advice. I sincerely address all their concerns, striving to boost team morale. My career has been built on my own efforts and patience, and I take pride in that. On the other hand, my home life is complicated. My husband Paul, an actor, was once in dramas and movies, but now his glory days are past. His peak is over, and his acting reputation is no longer flattering. All that's left are his habits of extravagant nightlife and poor relationships with women. Recently, Paul has been jobless more often and spending more time at home. When I told him about my promotion to director, he gave a mocking smile and said, "You, a director? You must be joking." Paul, my younger husband, also uses honorifics with me. He says he needs to be mindful of his language, or it slips during work. "People may say that you're certainly capable of handling your job, but a woman in such a major role?" I could only sigh and respond, "It can't be helped." The previous director took offense and left the company. And Paul is selfish. For example, there was this incident on a cold winter day. Paul suddenly said he wanted beef stew. When I told him we had no meat, he replied while lying on the sofa, "Then you should go buy some. And pick up some liquor and potato chips, too." Reluctantly, I got ready, drove to the store, and when I returned home, Paul was still lying in the same position. "You're late." Sorry. I'll cook now." Just as I said this and stood in the kitchen, the doorbell rang. My eyes widened, and Paul, with a smile, said, "You took so long I ordered pizza. It's late because the roads were busy." Okay. I'm going to eat pizza, so I don't need the stew." I looked down at the shopping bags in my hands. Paul has always been like this. Accustomed to being pampered from a young age, Paul lacks cooperation. Furthermore, I wondered what he had been doing while I was gone. He had no work scheduled for today, meaning he was free all day. He does go to a part-time job a few days a week, but even that doesn't last long. Treated as a declining former actor, he gets upset and clashes with colleagues. Paul now spends most of his day on social games. Moreover, this month's allowance has all gone to in-game purchases. "Keep your spending in check, okay?" "Yes." While he nodded, Paul wasn't really remorseful. I give him an allowance of $200 a month. But that's not enough for him, and he often asks for more. Paul's income is unstable, and whatever he earns, he spends entirely on himself. Mostly on nights out with friends, and also on branded clothes and accessories. "Don't be so angry." "I'm not angry." Sensing something in my expression, Paul tried to approach and hug me. "I really do prefer your cooking, Sarah. The food you work so hard to make has to be delicious." But I got too hungry. I slipped out of Paul's arms. The arm he extended hung in the air, and he gave a wry smile. "Hey, Paul. Why did you marry me?" I suddenly asked. Paul's eyes widened in surprise for a moment, but he soon smiled. "Because you're wonderful, Sarah." "Why ask such a thing now?" "Really?" Is that all? Of course. Not many can handle both work and home so perfectly. I felt emptiness in his words. Was his reason for choosing me truly love? Or was it just for my financial stability? One day, I decided and bought a new high-rise condominium. It was to step out of the somewhat cloudy life I had been leading, and to start anew in a new environment. Purchasing the condo was a significant step for me, an investment for myself. A few days after the condo purchase was finalized, and I was preparing to move, I told Paul about it. That night, he looked at me coldly and said, "Sarah, I'll be moving in with my mistress from tomorrow. So, unfortunately, you'll have to leave the house." His words pierced my heart coldly. What? What do you mean? At that moment, the front door opened, and a young, attractive woman appeared. She said with a triumphant laugh, "Old hag, get out of my house, haha." I was momentarily breathless, but quickly regained my composure. The young and attractive woman was exactly Paul's type. Paul had planned to live with his mistress, without considering everything I had done for him. There was no gratitude towards me, only actions to satisfy his own desires. What are you talking about? I bought this house. So, you two are the ones who should leave. What are you saying? This is Paul's and my house. Then Paul said something outrageous. "Sarah, I've got a great idea. Why don't we all live together? Divorcing is too much hassle, haha." What? Paul. Great idea. Let's do that. I don't mind at all. Are these people aliens? Why should I, the one cheated on, provide a home for Paul and his mistress? Paul. I'll give you 2 weeks. Find a new place and move out by then. I said this and returned to my study. That night, I sat alone in my study, reconsidering what marriage is and what self-worth means. What had I gained and lost in my marriage life? What I received from dedicating myself to Paul was just an empty sense of fulfillment. Was all my effort in vain? Thinking back, Paul had been indifferent to me from the beginning of our marriage. I knew about his cheating habits before we married, and I believed that supporting him might change him. But that was just my naive hope. Paul didn't change, instead, he got worse. I was close to losing sight of my own value. However, my marriage life with Paul taught me something important. It's not about self-sacrifice, it's crucial to value oneself. I will no longer be swayed by Paul. I have resolved to take actions to reclaim my life. The next day, I began preparing to start my new life, starting with settling my relationship with Paul. I gathered evidence of his infidelity and decided to divorce him. I will no longer be swayed by him. I decided to move forward strongly to reclaim my happiness. In the midst of this, I decided to consult with my best friend Mandy, who has always been a supportive presence. Mandy, can you listen? There's been a lot going on recently. What happened? Sarah, you look pale. Talk to me properly. I told her everything that had happened, Paul's infidelity, his declaration of cohabitation with his mistress, and my purchase of a new condominium. So, what are you planning to do? Honestly, I don't know. I'll move to start a new life, but my heart is still not settled. Mandy listened to my story in silence for a while, but then she said firmly, Sarah, you've been trying hard enough until now. But I can't stand by and let you suffer quietly. You should fight back. Fight back? How? It's simple. Gather evidence of Paul's infidelity and legally corner him. You have the right to do that. Her words woke me up. I realized I needed to fight to protect myself. I resolved to take action to settle things with Paul and reclaim my life. First, I began gathering evidence of Paul's infidelity. I examined everything: messages, photos, call histories stored on his smartphone and computer. The evidence was easy to find. His infidelity was more blatant than I had imagined, and it was clear how indifferent he was to me. Mandy, I've gathered the evidence. Now I can confront Paul. Well done, Sarah. What will you do next? I'll consult a lawyer. I'll make Paul legally accountable. The next day, I visited a lawyer's office. After hearing my story and checking the evidence, the lawyer took immediate action. Ms. Reed, this case is certainly winnable. We will take legal action against Mr. Paul, so please be assured. Thank you. I am ready to fight. As the legal proceedings progressed, Paul was increasingly cornered. His mistress also began to change her attitude under the impact. Sarah, what are you doing? This is terrible. Paul yelled. You betrayed me first. You have to take responsibility. I did nothing wrong. I was just chasing love. Love? Is that what you call love? I no longer intend to be swayed by you. The confrontation with Paul intensified. But I did not back down and maintained a firm stance against him. Together with my lawyer, we proceeded with the legal steps. And eventually, the divorce was finalized. Even after the divorce was finalized, Paul intended to stay in my house. But he was forcibly evicted through legal procedures. I was able to carve out a new life for myself with my own strength. Divorce finalized, and a new life began. I spent more time alone, facing myself. During my marriage, I had time to reflect on how much I had sacrificed and how I should grow in the future. At work, the busy days continued as usual. The responsibilities of a director were heavy, and I was involved in many projects. But that was also my passion. One day, my colleague John approached me. Sarah, you seem to have changed recently. You seem more confident than before. Really? Thanks, John. Since the divorce, I might have had more time to reflect on myself. John looked surprised. You got divorced? That must have been tough. Yes. But now, I'm taking it positively. I see it as a chance to start a new life. That's very positive and impressive. Living in the new condominium was a fresh start for me. I arranged the interior to my liking and enjoyed my daily life. When I returned home from work, the spacious living room provided me with time to relax, which soothed my heart. What shall I cook today? I mused aloud as I stood in the kitchen. Cooking became a way to calm my mind and cherish the time I took care of myself. At work, I had more opportunities to tackle new projects. One day, Director Sato approached me. Sarah, I would like you to handle this project. What do you think? Yes, of course. I'll give it my all. The project was crucial, affecting the future of the company, and came with great responsibility. However, I was fired up for the challenge. The new life had given me confidence and further boosted my motivation at work. Sarah, this proposal is fantastic. How did you come up with such an idea? A younger team member asked. Thanks. This idea came through various experiences. I think it's important to always try new things and grow. Days of feeling personal growth continued, and I was able to live more positively. I was trusted by my colleagues at the company and found joy in fulfilling my role as a team leader. And one day, I decided to meet Mandy after a long time. Mandy, it's been a while. Sarah, you seem radiant. You've really become stronger since the divorce. Thanks, Mandy. I owe it to you. Sarah, what will you do next? Find any new hobbies? Well, I recently started attending a cooking class. I had been interested for a while, so I decided to give it a try. That's wonderful. What have you made? Recently, I've been learning French cuisine. I plan to make some dishes from it today. We stood together in the kitchen and enjoyed cooking. Trying new recipes and cooking French cuisine was truly enjoyable. Mandy helped me, and we laughed together as we prepared the dishes. Sarah, this sauce is exquisite. It's really delicious. Thanks, Mandy. Cooking has become even more enjoyable thanks to you. After the cooking was done, we enjoyed the dishes we had arranged on the dining table. Delicious food and pleasant conversation filled our hearts. Sarah, continue to enjoy your time for yourself. You have the right to that. Thanks, Mandy. I'll continue to cherish myself and try new things. After that, I decided to try various hobbies, such as attending yoga classes and participating in painting workshops. I became proactive in engaging in activities I couldn't do due to my busy work schedule before. Sarah, how have you been? Are you enjoying the yoga class? It's a lot of fun. It refreshes both my body and mind, and I've made new friends. Meeting new friends has become a valuable part of my life. I've been spending more time going to cafes and enjoying picnics on weekends. With friends I met in yoga class. Interacting with them has added more color to my life. In painting class, I've learned to express my emotions through art. When I showed my first painting, the instructor said, "Sarah, this is a wonderful piece. Your emotions come through very clearly. Thank you. I want to continue doing this. Thanks to my new hobbies and friends, my life has become increasingly rich. I've overcome the painful past with Paul, and now I can find my own happiness." One day, I decided to host a party with my new friends. Mandy, friends from yoga class, and friends from painting class all gathered. And we had a great time. Sarah, thank you for throwing such a wonderful party. It's really fun. I'm happy to spend time with everyone too. Let's continue to share many more fun times. During these enjoyable times, I realized how much I've grown and how happy I feel. New life, new friends, new hobbies. I am confident that I can continue to cherish myself and pursue happiness. Gradually, my heart has regained peace. I was focused on work and new projects were progressing well, but somewhere in my heart, I was looking for new encounters. Then, a new wind blew into my life. One lunchtime, I was at a cafe near the office. As usual, I was enjoying some relaxing time during work when a man approached me. "Excuse me, may I sit here?" He had a refreshing smile. "Of course, please do," I answered. He sat down politely and ordered while looking at the menu. "Do you come here often?" He started a light conversation. "Yes, I come here often." "It's good for a break during work," I replied. He introduced himself while offering a business card. "My name is Ben White. I work at an IT company." "And you?" "I'm Sarah Reed. I work at a trading company," I replied. After that, our conversation flowed naturally. His bright and positive character was refreshing and comfortable for me. As we talked about work and hobbies, we gradually got to know each other better. "Sarah, would you like to have lunch together sometime?" Ben asked, looking a bit embarrassed. "I'd love to, I'm looking forward to it," I responded with a smile. A few days later, we had lunch together at the cafe again. Ben was very charming, and his kindness and sincerity drew me in. Talking with him was enjoyable, and time flew by. "Ben, talking with you really relaxes me," I honestly said. "I feel the same, Sarah." "Being with you really puts my mind at ease," Ben replied with a smile. We began to meet more often, and our relationship gradually became closer. Time with him symbolized a new beginning in my life. I had overcome past pains and was able to feel happy again. One weekend, we decided to go to a movie. In the dark of the cinema, I savored the happiness of being next to Ben. After the movie, we went for a walk in a nearby park. "Sarah, there's something I've been wanting to tell you," Ben suddenly said seriously. "What is it?" I looked at his face, a bit surprised. "I really care about you. I know about your past. But I still want to walk into the future together with you," Ben said, choosing his words carefully. His words warmed my heart. His sincere feelings came through. "Ben, thank you. I'm very happy with you too. I want to keep walking with you," I replied, tearfully. Then we took each other's hands and started walking towards a new future. My relationship with Ben symbolized a new beginning. I had overcome past pains and was able to feel happy again. As we supported each other in work and everyday life, our bond deepened. Touching his kindness and sincerity, I slowly healed from my past wounds. One day, to celebrate a big success in Ben's project, we went out for dinner. His eyes sparkled, and I could feel how important this success was to him. "Sarah, I could only come this far because of your support." "Thank you very much," Ben said, expressing his gratitude. "I'm really glad I met you, Ben." "Let's keep supporting each other," I replied with a smile. That evening, we talked about our future and reaffirmed our commitment to walk together. A new chapter in my life began, and I could feel hopeful about the future with Ben. As our relationship deepened, our time together became more and more enjoyable. Dates with him brought new joy to my heart and made me forget the loneliness and solitude I felt in everyday life. On weekends, we went out to various places. One day, we visited an art museum in the suburbs of Tokyo and admired beautiful paintings and sculptures. Ben was knowledgeable about art and taught me a lot. His knowledge and passion helped me find new interests. "This painter expresses emotions strongly with a unique touch," Ben explained. And I felt my understanding of the paintings deepening. On another day, we visited a seaside resort and enjoyed a walk while listening to the waves. The sea breeze was pleasant, and we walked slowly, hand in hand. "Coming here really refreshes the mind," Ben said with a smile. "Yes, it's truly healing," I replied. At that moment, I again realized how happy I was to be with him. We also enjoyed cooking together. Ben was good at cooking, especially Italian cuisine. I was surprised by his proficiency in the kitchen and learned new recipes from him. "Let's try making homemade pasta today," Ben suggested, and we started making pasta together while enjoying ourselves. We kneaded the dough and shaped it with a pasta machine, laughing and sharing happy moments. "Sarah, your cooking is really delicious," Ben said. "Thank you. It's because you teach well," I replied shyly. Then, one evening, we went to an observatory in a high-rise building to see the night view. The city of LA sparkled brilliantly, and I was overwhelmed by its beauty. Ben drew me close and whispered quietly, "Sarah, I'm really happy to be able to see this view with you." "I feel the same way, Ben. Being with him has brought new joy to my life. I can't completely forget my past with Paul. But the time spent with Ben heals me and restores my positive spirit." We had also planned a trip together. For our next holiday, we were planning to see the autumn leaves at Yosemite. I was looking forward to enjoying the beautiful scenery of the ancient city and spending time with Ben. Ben, I'm looking forward to walking and seeing the autumn leaves, I said. Me too, Sarah. Yosemite is a beautiful place, and I'm sure it will be a wonderful memory. Ben replied with a smile. Our relationship deepened day by day. By understanding and supporting each other, we built a stronger bond. The time I spent with Ben was truly irreplaceable. And I was excited to continue our journey together. Then, one day, Ben spoke to me with a serious expression. Sarah, I have something to discuss about our future. I listened attentively, albeit a bit nervously. What is it, Ben? Actually, I want to spend more time with you. So, if you don't mind, would you consider moving in with me? Ben proposed carefully. I was surprised at his words, but I soon felt a warmth in my heart. Ben, I feel the same way. I've been thinking about living with you too. At that moment, we smiled at each other and made a firm decision to take a new step forward. Anticipation of starting a new life with Ben made my heart race, overcoming past wounds. Our relationship would continue to grow. The fun times with Ben brought new hope and happiness into my heart. With that joy, I took a new step forward. Amid the happy days with Ben, I gradually felt the inevitable confrontation with my past with Paul. I couldn't truly move forward without settling the past. This feeling grew stronger day by day. One day, I decided to contact Paul to settle things once and for all. I sent a message and arranged to meet him. The location was a cafe we used to visit often. When I arrived at the cafe on the appointed day, Paul was already there. He no longer had the confidence and ease he used to display. Instead, his face bore a weary expression. I took a deep breath and sat down. It's been a while, Paul, I said in a calm voice. Thank you for contacting me, Sarah. He nodded slightly in response. I came here today to sort things out. To settle our past so that we can both move forward. I continued with a serious expression. Paul listened silently. His eyes showed a hint of pity. Sarah, I really regret hurting you. I regret the pain I caused. But we can't go back, can we? He said painfully. That's right, we can't go back. But that's okay. We should each walk our own path. I answered calmly. If you're happy, that's good enough for me. But I still have feelings for you, Paul said while clenching his hand. His words slightly shook me. However, remembering the happy days with Ben, I regained my composure. Let's end it, Paul. We are each other's past now, I stated firmly. He was silent for a while, then he sighed deeply. All right. You're right. I'll move on too. Relieved by his words, I felt a genuine end. Our relationship was now settled. Thank you, Paul. Let's each find happiness on our own path. I smiled gently. He also showed a slight smile and said, Goodbye, Sarah. I wish you happiness. Before he stood up and left. Afterward, I left the cafe and headed to the meeting place to join Ben. Seeing his face, I felt a wave of relief. How did it go? Ben asked, concerned. It's over. I've truly settled the past now, I answered with a smile. That's great. Now you can really move forward, Ben said kindly. That night, we enjoyed dinner in a quiet restaurant. I felt deeply how much Ben's presence supported me. Thank you, Ben. Because you are with me, I can move forward. I expressed my heartfelt gratitude. Sarah, I can keep going because you are with me too. Let's keep pushing forward together. Ben smiled as he spoke. Tears nearly spilled from my eyes at his words. It was a moment when I was certain of how bright our future together would be. We continued to share various experiences and deepen our bond. Time with Ben was truly happy for me, and being with him, I could reclaim myself. Our future holds many challenges, but I believe that together with Ben, we can overcome any difficulty. We will walk hand in hand, moving forward together. As my relationship with Ben White deepened, I found myself recalling my past with Paul less frequently. However, unresolved emotions still lingered deep within me. Despite having found new happiness, there were moments when old wounds unexpectedly ached. One evening, after a demanding presentation at work, I returned home exhausted. Ben had already come home and prepared dinner for me. "You must be tired, Sarah. It was a tough day, wasn't it?" Ben said gently, welcoming me with his kind words. "Thank you, Ben. I made it through because of your support," I replied with gratitude. We talked about work and our future plans while dining together. It was a night to reaffirm how much Ben's presence supported and enriched my life. However, after going to bed that night, I suddenly woke up. Looking at the clock, it was past 2 a.m. Sleepless nights always brought back memories of the past. Memories of Paul flashed through my mind, stirring my heart. The memories of our marriage, his betrayal, and the moment of our separation came back vividly, weighing heavily on my heart. Revisiting why I was so deeply hurt pained me anew. "Why, Paul? Why did you betray me like that?" I questioned in my mind, though I already knew the answer. His weaknesses and my excessive expectations had shattered everything. Lying next to Ben, I saw his peaceful sleeping face. My new life with him was invaluable, but still, the wounds from the past were not completely healed. I knew I had to face this reality. The next morning, I decided to open up to Ben. While we were having breakfast, I gathered the courage to speak. "Ben, actually, last night, I found myself thinking about Paul and couldn't sleep." Ben looked surprised, but soon listened intently with a serious face. "Thank you for telling me, Sarah. It must have been difficult." "Yes, but I feel like I'm slowly moving forward with you. However, maybe I haven't fully sorted out my feelings yet," I replied honestly. Ben nodded deeply. "It's natural, Sarah. Past wounds don't heal overnight. Take your time and proceed at your own pace." His words slightly eased my heart. With Ben's understanding and support, I could move forward, even if just a little at a time. Being with him allowed me to honestly accept my feelings. A few days later, I decided to start counseling. With the help of a professional, I began to address my emotions and take steps to heal from past wounds. Ben supported my decision and encouraged me. In counseling, expressing my emotions verbally helped me gradually sort out my feelings. I could calmly reflect on my past with Paul and deeply consider how our relationship had impacted me. "You are strong. Overcoming these experiences will make you even stronger," the counselor encouraged me. Those words filled me with hope. While continuing counseling and building my relationship with Ben, I gradually healed from my past wounds. However, one day, an unexpected event shook my life. It was the day of an important presentation at work. I headed to the office early to prepare. After receiving a message on my smartphone from Paul, I was distracted. "Sarah, I urgently need to talk. Can we meet now?" His sudden message brought surprise and anxiety. I had no idea what had happened or what he wanted to say. After the presentation, I went to the cafe where Paul had asked to meet. Arriving there, I found Paul already seated. His expression was grave, unlike his usual demeanor. "Thank you for coming, Sarah," he said quietly. "What's going on? Why the sudden message?" I asked. Paul hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath before starting. "Actually, my father passed away suddenly." His words shocked me. I had met Paul's father once. He was a stern man who was quite strict with Paul. The fact that such a man had passed away abruptly shook me. "I'm sorry for your loss," I said quietly. "There's an issue with my father's inheritance, and I desperately need your help," Paul continued. His words left me momentarily confused. I had not expected to be involved in his family's issues. However, Paul's serious demeanor and obvious distress made it clear he genuinely needed help. "What can I do to help?" I asked, ready to assist him. "Thank you, Sarah. There's a part of my father's estate that I desperately want to protect." He expressed his gratitude. Afterward, I helped Paul with the inheritance procedures. Re-engaging with his family brought back past emotions within me. However, helping him seemed like a way to overcome the past wounds. Weeks passed, and the inheritance issues were moving towards resolution. However, during this process, I felt my relationship with Paul becoming complicated again. The memories of our past resurfaced, and my heart was in turmoil. One day, Paul called me out again to talk. He looked at me earnestly and said quietly, "Sarah, there's something I need to apologize for." "What is it?" I asked nervously. "Actually, while I asked for your help with the inheritance, my real reason was different. I wanted to start over with you," he confessed. His words made me feel both shocked and angry. "What are you saying? You involved me for that reason? I'm really sorry. But being with you, I thought I could make up for my past mistakes," he pleaded. At that moment, I knew our relationship was truly over. Even as I felt old wounds reopening, I spoke firmly. "Don't involve me again. You can't undo your past mistakes." Paul looked at me silently, then nodded quietly. "Understood. Goodbye, Sarah." I left the place and headed to meet Ben. His kindness and support felt even more crucial to me. After sharing everything with Ben, he embraced me gently. "Sarah, you don't have to be trapped by the past anymore. Let's build a new future together," he said. His words brought tears to my eyes. It was a moment when I was sure that the future with Ben was the most important thing to me. Determined to move forward and overcome the past, that was the step I took. After finally severing ties with Paul, a sense of solitude and relief spread through my heart simultaneously. By shedding the burden of the past, I was ready to walk a new path in life. However, there were still emotions I needed to sort out. Ben understood this and stayed by my side gently. His kindness and support were the greatest encouragement for me. Grateful for his presence, I spent time healing my past wounds and discovering a new version of myself. One day, as Ben and I visited a lush park, I enjoyed a moment of quiet. The rustling of the trees and the chirping of birds were soothing. And it was a place where my heart could find peace. "Coming here feels like it cleanses the soul, doesn't it?" Ben commented. "Indeed. Being here makes me reflect on myself," I responded. Ben and I were sitting on a park bench, quietly observing the scenery. He gently held my hand and smiled softly. In that moment, I made a decision in my heart. "Ben, I think I need to spend more time facing myself. To fully heal from my past wounds, I said quietly. Sarah, that's a wonderful idea. I'll support you all the way, let's work on this together. He replied strongly. From that day on, I decided to regularly attend counseling sessions to sort through past events. In counseling, I could honestly speak about my emotions and confront my inner wounds. Under the therapist's guidance, I gradually began to free myself and organize my thoughts. During one session, the therapist asked me, Sarah, what have you learned from your past experiences? And how do you feel you have grown? After a moment of thought, I quietly answered, I've learned the importance of recognizing my own strengths and weaknesses. My past experiences have made me stronger and have also given me the courage to accept myself. The therapist smiled and said, Exactly. Your past wounds are part of your growth. Forgiving yourself and having the strength to move forward are crucial. I felt a deep relief at those words. By forgiving myself and overcoming my past wounds, I was confident that I could find a new version of myself. One evening, Ben prepared a special dinner for me. As the candlelight flickered, he began to speak softly. Sarah, I'm always grateful for the time I spend with you. Seeing you overcome your past gives me courage too. I responded with heartfelt gratitude. Ben, it's because you're with me that I've been able to come this far. Thank you truly. Let's build a bright future together. I believe we can overcome anything as long as we're together, Ben said with a gentle smile. Seeing his smile, I resolved to continue looking forward and pursuing my own happiness. The past events are a part of me, and by accepting them, I believed I could become stronger and happier. Determined to take a new step forward towards a future with Ben, I began preparing to start our new life together. Our relationship deepened, becoming indispensable to each other. I was eager to build our future together. One day, Ben had a special plan to propose to me, which I was unaware of. The surprise he prepared moved me deeply. On a weekend evening, Ben took me to our favorite restaurant. The quiet and calm atmosphere of the restaurant was perfect for spending special time together. As dinner progressed, Ben, looking a bit nervous, spoke to me. Sarah, there's something I want to tell you today, he said. What is it? I asked, a bit surprised yet attentive. Ben took a deep breath and pulled out a small box. Since meeting you, my life has truly changed. Every day spent with you is filled with happiness, and I want to build our future together. Sarah, will you marry me? His words nearly brought tears to my eyes. His sincere feelings enveloped my heart warmly. Ben, of course. I too want to build our future together, I responded emotionally. Ben smiled happily and slipped the ring on my finger. At that moment, we took our first step towards a new future. Confident that the future we would build together would be wonderful, we overcame past pains. As we progressed with our wedding preparations, we were busy starting our new life together. Finding a new home, selecting furniture, and planning the wedding further deepened our bond. One day, after moving into our new home, we were setting up the room while looking forward to the future. Ben, preparing dinner in the kitchen, spoke to me. I'm looking forward to our life together, Sarah. With you, every day becomes special. I feel the same, Ben. With you by my side, I believe we can overcome any difficulties. I responded with a smile. Our life in the new home began, and we found happiness in our everyday lives. Together, we enjoyed cooking, relaxed while watching movies, and spent time enjoying nature on weekends. Life with Ben was truly irreplaceable to me. As our wedding day approached, we deepened our bonds with friends and family. Ben's family welcomed me warmly, and my family wholeheartedly welcomed him. This bond enriched our new life even further. On our wedding day, we exchanged vows and embarked on a new life. Strengthening our bond with Ben and filled with hope for our future, we stepped forward. Having begun our new life with Ben, I fully healed from my past wounds. Ben's support strengthened me and gave me hope for the new future. Believing in the path we would walk together, I continued to move forward. Months after the wedding, our new life was going smoothly. Each day with Ben was filled with new discoveries and joys. We respected and supported each other, building a stronger bond. In our comfortable new home, we cherished our time together. In the mornings, we had breakfast together, and I cheered him on as he went to work. He also encouraged me with a gentle smile as I left for work. On weekends, we decided to find new hobbies together. We enjoyed hiking, gardening, and cooking classes. These activities allowed us to understand and connect with each other even more deeply. One night, Ben said, "I've prepared a special dinner for tonight." "I'm excited, Ben." "What have you made?" I asked eagerly. "It's your favorite Italian." "I've prepared pasta, salad, and even a special dessert," he replied with a smile. The table was filled with delicious dishes, and we enjoyed a wonderful meal that evening. Impressed by Ben's cooking skills, I felt truly happy. "It's really delicious, Ben." "Thank you," I expressed my gratitude. "Seeing your smile makes me happy too, Sarah," he replied kindly. Our life was fulfilled by supporting and loving each other. My work was going well, with new projects being recognized, and there was talk of a promotion. Ben also achieved great success in his career. One day, after an important meeting at work, I called Ben. "Ben, I've officially been promoted today." "Congratulations, Sarah." "Your efforts have been recognized," he rejoiced. "Thank you, Ben." "It's because of your support that I've made it this far," I said with gratitude. That night, we celebrated modestly but specially. We opened champagne, celebrated each other's successes, and shared hopes for the future. Our life became richer as we found happiness in everyday moments, believing that together we could overcome any challenge. One day, Ben surprised me. "Sarah, let's go on a trip this weekend. There's a place I want to show you." "Really? Where are we going?" I was filled with surprise and joy. "That will be part of the fun," Ben said with a playful smile. That weekend, we drove to a beautiful mountain resort. Surrounded by mountains in a tranquil setting, we enjoyed the natural beauty. Ben had booked a special lodge for us. "I thought this would be the perfect place for us to start anew," Ben said. That night, under the starry sky, holding Ben's hand, I felt truly happy. It was the moment I knew how wonderful our future together would be. Our married life was built on love and trust. Savoring the joy of moving forward together beyond past wounds, we cherished each day. We would continue to walk through happy days with Ben. Feeling anew that my future with him was my greatest treasure, I took a new step forward. As our happy married life continued, I was able to fully confront my past self. The painful memories and emotional scars from my time with Paul now felt like parts of my growth. Ben's support strengthened me, and past events guided me toward a new future. On a sunny day, Ben and I walked through a park. The fresh greenery vibrant and the breeze pleasant. We talked about the future while holding hands. "Sarah, I want to try new things in life with you," Ben said. "I feel the same, Ben." "Any future with you is exciting," I replied with a smile. Then, I remembered the past, my marriage with Paul and the difficult experiences that followed. But I realized that all these were steps that shaped me today. and built the foundation for my happy life with Ben. Ben, thank you. I am truly happy because you are with me, I expressed my heartfelt gratitude. Sarah, I am grateful for you too. Being with you has made me stronger and kinder. Ben responded gently. Throughout our marriage, we shared various experiences and watched each other grow. Our bond with each other grew stronger, and our future looked bright. We would continue to face new challenges together, believing we could overcome any difficulty. The future with Ben was my greatest treasure, and it would continue forever. Sarah, I'm really looking forward to our future together, Ben said kindly. Me too, Ben. Let's spend many more happy days together, I replied with a smile. Hand in hand, we watched the sunset, committing to move toward our new future together.